Hi there. So this is a quick introduction to how to play Labyrintheus. This is going to be a one-player mode. To do a one-player mode, what you do is you pick the persona that you want to play. Here I'm going to play the halfling trickster. His name is Jaren Took. You'll notice on the bottom here he has special abilities. One of the things he can do is he's a lot better at getting around traps, and then the second ability is more towards a multiplayer game where if he passes a trap he can reset it for someone else to play. So when you play the single player mode, you're only going to be concerned with the living side of your persona card. The dead side you're not going to really mess with at all. So the living side is what we're going to be playing with. You notice just like in multiplayer mode, you have two decks. You have an encounter deck and you have a treasure deck. So in the single player mode, you will take two persona decks and combine them. One will be the persona deck for the persona you want to play, and the other one will be any of the other persona decks that you want. So what we do first, just like in standard game, we will go ahead and we will draw 3 treasure cards. Right now these 3 treasure cards are in our backpack, which is our hand. Looking at these, we can actually equip all 3 of these. Looks like we have 2 health potions and a staff. To equip an item on your persona card, again, sorry about the lack of space here, but place them under the item inventory option for the items, and the staff will fit underneath one of the hand inventory item spots, just like that. Something special about this staff, you'll notice that the staff itself has a hardness 3. I don't know if that comes in clearly or not on the video, but it has a hardness 3. So what it means is whenever I want to use its bonuses, it'll take a point of damage. It has a hardness of 3, so once it gets to 3 points of damages, I have to discard the item. Normally in Labyrintheus, whenever you have an item, it's discard to use. So if it gives a bonus, in order for you to get the bonus, you have to actually discard it. So now the prep part of my turn is over. I will draw the first encounter card, which is a monster. And this monster, you'll notice upper right hand corner, the damage icon does 1 point of damage. The defense icon has a defense of 3, and you'll notice the player icon down here is that of the halfling trickster. So if I defeat this creature, not only will I get a treasure card, I'll also get one of these gate stones that I can place on my player card. Now, in single player mode, the point of the game is to collect 4 gate stones so you can challenge a titan. If you defeat the titan, you win the game. Now it takes 4 gate stones in order to challenge the titan that way. So once you have 4, you'll discard the 4, cycle through the deck till you get to a titan, and then fight him. If you lose, you take the amount of damage you take, but also you lose all your gate stones. You have to play through and collect it back up again to try and get it. But let's fight this creature here. So he has a defense of 3, which means on a d6 I have to roll 3 or better to actually defeat him. And I rolled a 6. Because it's Labyrintheus, if you roll a 6, re-roll it and add them together. 4. So I do 10 points damage to him, which means I take him out. And because I take him out, I get to draw a treasure card. I got a ring. See here in the ability, it says discard to gain 1 defense. That's clear enough. So what I'll do is I have this, but since he was one of my own creatures, I get a gate stone. Put that on there. Now this is the counter part of this. My round is over. So now I have the cleanup part. I want to go ahead and equip this ring so that it's ready to use if I need it, which means I will equip it here. That's the next spot. I'll equip it here in the ring spot. That was the first turn. So let's do another turn. Ha! I get a treasure chest. Draw one treasure card. I will indeed draw a treasure card. Alright. Looks like I have a cloak of many things. I will equip this so that it is usable when I need it. And you can see the inventory system around the persona card. It can get kind of full, which is no big deal. At any time during a prep or cleanup phase, if you want to change items out, you can. Not an issue. Go ahead. Another count. This one is a trap card. Tell because on the bottom it says trap, obviously. But also it has not only a damage icon, but a skill icon. Now this is a nasty trap. This is a dragon's breath trap. Luckily for me, I get a +2 to my skill checks, which means on a d6, all I have to do is roll a 4 or better, and I can avoid that trap. Which I do not. I only get a 3. And right now I have no items that will let me increase that. So what that means is now I take damage. And according to this card, I take 3 points of damage. So what I do is I take little health tokens. 1, 2, 3. So I have 3 points of damage. You notice I have 10 health. That hurt. So now this is my cleanup phase. I'll go ahead and discard this one to heal 2 health back. And that's that. We'll go on to the next card. Rats. Just a little lowly 1 damage, 2 defense monster. Should be no problem for me to take out. I roll. I take him out because I have a 2 or better that I rolled. Now he is not, you'll see, he is not one of my creatures. This is the Gnome Illusionist icon. I do not get Gatestone for defeating him, but I do get a treasure card. This is an ability card. Ability cards can be used at any point in time, and it's important to note at any point in time during any other players or yours rounds, anytime. Anytime you want to play this, you play it. Think of it like an instant card, like in Magic or anything like that. This has more use of different things in a multiplayer game than it does in a one-player. But this one, precisely, will give us 3 defense until the end of the current encounter, which is a good defense to have. You keep the ability cards in your backpack, which is your hand. I'm just going to lay them off to the side here for right now. Another counter card. This is a monster. Again, this is a monster that is not of my icon. Alright, he is a 4 defense. Notice that his special ability in combat loss, I bleed for half the damage. So what that means is the next round, I'll take half of the damage it deals. So right now it only does 2 points of damage. So next round, if I lose this round, next round I'll take an additional point of damage. But let's see if I can defeat him. It's a 4. I'm going to have to roll 4 or higher. And I do. But let's say this was my roll. I got a 3. I don't defeat him. But what I can do is, since I have this staff, I can use it to give me a +2 to combat and a +1 to defense, pumping my roll to a 5, defeating the monster. And note that I put a token on the staff to let me know that I've already used one of its two hardnesses. Since I defeated the creature, I'll draw a card. This, the bag of holding. This card will increase your hand size or your backpack size by 2. So normally you're only allowed to have a total of 4 cards in your backpack. This will increase that by 2. Alright. Coming across another trap. This one is Falling Rocks. It is a skill check of 2 and a damage of 1, so not a very hard trap at all. It is important to keep in mind, I have a +2 to skill check, so you would think there's no way that I can fail this. 1 is an auto fail. Anytime you roll a 1 on a combat or on a skill check, it is an automatic failure. Rolled a 2. Luckily, I didn't have to do anything. But let's say I did. I rolled a 1. Let's say I rolled a 1. I will take damage from this trap. I do have a ring of walls which will let me gain a 1 defense. Now the way you can mitigate damage is, say this was a monster and I was taking 4 damage. I could discard this to where I only take 3 damage. But it's good to note that this is a trap. Defense does not work on traps. So I'm going to take the full amount of the damage, and this time it's just going to be 1 point. Okay. Pull this over. Treasure chest. Draw a treasure. This is an item card, and I would like to keep this. I'm going to want to equip this so I can use this. This is basically an ignore a combat card, which I will, during my cleanup phase, I will use the health potion to heal 1 and equip Portable Dimension. Now it is also important to note that in order to use an item, bonuses, or abilities during my encounter round, or during the encounter phase of the round, it has to be equipped. Because in the encounter phase, you cannot equip or de-equip any items. You can only discard them to activate them. So make sure you equip what you think you might need before your encounter phase. Alright, I have my hand. Another one. This is an encounter difficulty increase card or an encounter level up card. What this means is everything that's in the encounter deck has increased in difficulty by 1. So +1 to all encounter damage, skill, and defense. Also, draw another encounter card. We will lay this off to the side here so that I remember to increase whatever comes up. Draw 1 treasure. Unfortunately, it's difficulty, not ease, so it does not increase the amount of treasure you get. I still only get 1 treasure card. And it's a health potion. I'll put that in my backpack. Okay, I have nothing to do during my cleanup, so I'll draw another encounter card. A monster. This one here, the Fungi Master. So, he is a 5/3. But we have the encounter level up card, which makes him a defensive 6 creature with a damage of 4. Let's see if we can fight him. 1. Auto failure. I lost that battle. So he's going to do 4 points of damage to me. That's going to hurt. Also, on combat loss, discard a random equipped weapon. Well, unfortunate for me, I only have 1 weapon. Not very random. So I'm going to have to discard my staff, and I'm going to take 4 points of damage. 2, 3, 4. And to note, for the review copies that you get of this game, right now in the Game Crafter version, it has these little tokens that are reversible. This side obviously is health, and this side is a gate stone. Alright, looks like I've got 5 points of damage, so I'm about halfway. And since he defeated me, I do not draw a treasure card. My cleanup phase, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the bag of holding, because it doesn't make much sense to have that right now. And I will go ahead and equip and use. This is a thing that's answered in frequently asked questions. I'm going to go ahead and equip and use this healing potion to heal 1 hit point or 1 health. And if you just want to play it, discard it out of your hand and gain a health, that's perfectly acceptable as well. So there we go. Not as bad as I was before. We'll do another encounter. A big treasure chest. Draw 2 cards. Which is good, because I feel like I'm going to need some of these. I have 2 cards, a health potion and a Trapmaster tool. I'm going to go ahead and use the health potion now. And let's go ahead and equip the Trapmaster's tools. Trapmaster tools will give me a bonus to skill checks if any. And there's a second level up card. So in the single player game, when you're creating your decks, you'll want to add 2 of the encounter level up cards every time you shuffle the encounter deck. If you're playing a multiplayer game, you'll put 4 every time you shuffle the encounter deck. If 4 seems a little hard, you can add 3. You'll find when you go a full 4-player game, usually the good rule of thumb is to add an encounter level up card per player. So 4-player you use 4, 3-player you use 3, a 1 and a 2-player you'll use 2. And draw another card, and this is a trap. So now this is the Deep Dark Pit, and it has a damage of 1 and a skill check of 3. But since I have 2 of these, my skill check is now 5, and the damage is now 3. Let's see. And 1 is an auto failure. Isn't that nice? So that means I'm going to take 3 points of damage. And here it says skill check fail, which I failed the skill check. Skip your next turn. Well, obviously in a single player game, you can't. Multiplayer, that means you'll skip your next turn. So those 3 hit points that I healed, I'll just take right back again. Okay, things are not boding well for me. Alright, let's go ahead and flip this over, and we're going to fight Skeletal Knight. Immune to ranged weapons. Luckily enough, I have no ranged weapons, but he has a defense of 4 inherently, which means now he's a defense of 6. And me without a weapon. Let's see. See if I can do a 4. Well, if he was not pumped up, I could have won. What I'm going to do, this is the thing too, in the encounter phase, always roll first. If you fail, then you can activate your items. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to activate my portable dimension, which will let me ignore this combat, because he would have hurt really bad. Let's go ahead and play, and the Minotaur King. This is not going to bode well for me at all. He is a Titan, and you can tell because on the bottom, his classification if you can see that at all, is Titan. He is a 3/6 monster, which means 3 damage, 6 defense. Right now he's an 8 defense. He does something pretty nasty when you lose too. But let's see what we do. So I 6. I rolled a 5. I don't really have anything to boost my combat. What I'll do is I'll discard my roll of many things to pull a treasure card and see if there's anything that can save me. No, this is a potion of Varti, which only gives me a skill, which is not going to be very helpful at all. Alright, so I know I'm going to take damage. I'm going to take a decent amount of damage. So I'm going to take 5 points, which if I do nothing, it's going to kill me. So what I will do is I will use my ability card of Mirror Image. And what this will do, it will give me a +3 defense until the end of the current combat. So now I have a +3 defense, because my inherent defense is 0. And he's going to do 5 points. What I'll do is I'll also activate my Ring of Walls to give me an additional 1. So now I have 4 defense, and he's going to do 5 points of damage, which means he's going to carry through 1 point. Which, if I count these to make sure I'm not cheating at all, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points out of 10. Wow. Go ahead and equip the potion and see what's in store for me next. Okay. A Rollin Priest. So he is a 1/3, but with the 2 encounter cards, he now becomes a 3/5. Luckily for me, if I win, I get to heal a point of damage. Let's see what I do. I do a 5. And he's a 5, which means I defeat him, which is good. So, I will heal a point of health and draw my treasure card. This is pretty good. I think I'm going to swap out in my cleanup phase this potion for that potion. I can put this back in my backpack. Okay. Let's draw again. Draw 2 treasure cards. Things are starting to look up. Ah, a dagger. Good. And a big health potion. Alright, I will equip the dagger. And I will heal 2 health. It's always important, especially in the later stages, when you have a health potion, you use it. Alright. Just a small little animated objects creature. 2 damage, 3 defense. Which makes him 4 damage, 5 defense. So we can do that's 6. And roll again, and I obliterate them. Okay, draw a mechanical claw, another one-handed melee. I'm going to go ahead and equip that. Get me ready for some massive combat finally. And I'm glad I did. This is another Titan. This is actually, you see my icon on there. This is a Titan from my homeland. This is the Trap Maker. He's a special Titan. He's got something special with him. You notice he has 3 icons here. He has the damage, the defense, and a skill check. So you see here on a combat fail, pass a skill check or take double damage. So it's important that you defeat him or you avoid his traps that he throws out during combat. Let's see what we can do. So he is going to be a defense of 8 since he's inherently a 6 and there's 2 level up cards. So I rolled a 5. and I can boost that by 5, 6, 7, 8. I can do that. I can burn both of these. This gives me a +2. This gives me a +1. It makes me an 8. I take them out, which means I draw a treasure card, which this is pretty good, so I will equip the necklace here, the Amulet of Fortune. And since he was of my heritage, I get a gate stone. I'm up to 2. I need 2 more in order to win the game. So let's see what we can do. Trap. Poison darts. It is a 1/3 trap, but with the 2 cards, it now becomes a 3/5. Let's see what we got. 4. I inherently get a 2 to it, which makes it a 6, which means I pass the trap. Of course, you defeat a trap and you avoid a trap, you don't get any treasure from it. I think in the rule book it says traps don't hoard gold, they just kill. Getting down close to the end of the encounter deck. Another trap. Ooh, an acid pit. This is a 2/5 trap. So this is actually going to be a 4/7. And a skill check fail. I discard a random item. Ouch. Let's see what we can do. 6. That's what I needed. And what else we got? So that's 8 plus my ability, 10, which passes it. Alright, successfully avoid the acid pit. Last one is a draw 1 treasure card. I got it. A shield. I'll go ahead and equip the shield in one hand. Funny note about the shields, if you have 2, they're one-handed, so you can literally put one on each hand and become a little shield wall yourself. So now that we are out of encounter cards, I will take them. I will add 2 more of the counter up cards to the deck. I will shuffle it. And proceed on. Tighten right off the bat. Okay, Trap Maker. We know what he is. Let's continue on and see what we can do. Got a 3. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and use my Amulet of Fortune. The Amulet of Fortune's ability: discard to draw a different encounter or treasure card. That didn't help any. Kept me alive a little longer, I guess. So that's a level up card. And rats. Alright. So this 1/2 monster now becomes a 4/5 monster. And I did a 5, so that's good. I don't get a gate stone because he's from the gnome's homeworld, but I do get a treasure. Armor, leaf armor. Note, you'll notice that this is not of the gnome or the halfling background cards. So what that means is when you build the decks together, you can take cards, swap out cards from any of the other Persona decks if you want. All you need to make sure is that you have 20 cards in each stack. So you have 20 treasure cards and 20 encounter cards. What I did here, what I like to do in the 1-player game, is I'll put the 2 Persona cards together, and any cards that are purely like multiplayer, that affect other players but don't really have an effect on me, I'll take out and replace with another like item or another encounter card from one of the other decks.